Hi everyone, welcome to Learning Lifts. My name is Allie Rodman and I am the founder of the Learning Loop. This week I've been receiving a lot of questions about the idea of time. How do we find the time as leaders to plan personalized professional learning? What does it look like to make this work a priority? Not just when you're in the reflective space of summer, but perhaps most challenging when you're in the busyness and the craziness of the school year. And one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give you in this area is to plan ahead. You know what the ebbs and flows are for the most part in your schedule, as well as in the daily things that pop up day to day within your school building. So, in much the same way that we might encourage teachers to plan ahead with long term plans and some of their critical lesson plans as much as possible during the summer months or the slower times, you can be working on that in the same way as a leader to plan ahead with your needs assessments, to start thinking through who some of your potential facilitators might be and where you might need some capacity building from the outside, as well as working with your facilitators through those design processes. So thinking through, how are we going to bring in more teacher voice? How are we going to allow them to be co-creators in this space so that the work that we're doing around professional learning ultimately leads teachers to self-discovery? But I hear you, time is incredibly challenging, and the biggest piece of advice I can give you is plan ahead. In regards to the challenge of time, the second piece of advice that I would give you is to think about whether or not you are maximizing the teacher voices and the teacher leadership in your particular school or district. So, in my book, Personalized Professional Learning, I coach leaders through a variety of different lenses that they can use to approach facilitator identification. Too often we kind of, tap the same people over and over and over again, and they feel voluntold to facilitate different groups and different professional learning to the point where they're just completely spent. And there are potentially missed opportunities and missed facilitators, if you will, in the professional learning space. So I encourage you to think through, who are some of those untapped gems in your learning organization that you might be able to utilize for professional learning purposes, and have an honest conversation with them. Talk through what are some of their strengths and what are some of their growth opportunities, and use that as a launch pad together to engage in some really powerful learning, not just for the teachers who will ultimately be in their group, but for them as a facilitator as well. I hope this learning lift gave you some new ideas about how to find time in your school or district and make that space to really personalize professional learning for your teachers. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next week. If you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please click below, as well as follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Learning Loop. Thanks, everyone.